Hello, welcome to the Death Battle cast on the day of Vicious Circle.
That's right.
Yeah.
Comes out today if you're watching live.
And if you're hearing applause, Vicious Circle literally just launched, and our games team is clapping and celebrating because they've worked super hard on it for a really long time.
Just on the other side of the wall.
Yeah, exactly. So check it out on Steam.
But welcome to Death Battle cast. I am Ben, the voice of Wiz in Death Battle.
I'm Sam.
I'm Chad. I play Boomstick.
Hi, Luis.
God, you guys, it's never gonna go easy.
They're involved in some aspect of the shows.
That says the full name. That's fine.
It does, but it doesn't say who, like what you do.
Right.
Showrunner,
You write
DX,
stuff, and you
animator,
I move the pictures around.
lead animator
Make
for
pictures,
Ghost
move.
Rider versus Lobo, the episode that just came out that we're going to talk about.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for
can
people
tell.
to watch it.
Yep.
Always excited.
And thank you so much to our sponsor for this week's episode, Death Battle Cast, Hims and Quip. Longtime sponsors returning. If you haven't tried them out, you should. And we will have more information about them later on in the show. So yes, Ghost Rider vs. Lobo just came out, and I'm so excited with how people are responding so far because it is such a wacky, fun, ridiculous, and awesome episode all at once.
Yeah, it keeps you guessing throughout the entire episode.
It's such a good matchup. I know there are a lot of different requested matchups for Ghost Rider and Lobo. Both of them are very popular characters when it comes to Death Battle requests. But this one in particular, I really wanted to try out because of just how insane it gets. We're going to be talking a little bit about behind-the-scenes stuff regarding the episode. So if you haven't seen it yet, we might kind of spoil it a little bit. So go watch that before you keep watching this. But we will be doing the Q&A that we typically do next week, so that because we're currently recording this while Ghost Rider Lobo is exclusive to first members, but it will go live on YouTube on Wednesday, and you can check that out. Leave questions in the comments. We will address questions, concerns, thoughts like that in next week's episode, Death Battle Cast. But going into Ghost Rider versus Lobo. The main reason why we chose this one outside of say Ghost Rider versus Spawn or Ghost Rider versus Deadpool Lobo versus Deadpool, which are very popular requests, is because they're both hardcore biker dudes with
They
chains.
both have motorcycles. Come on.
There's the obvious connection, and B, Lobo is banned from heaven and hell. So how does Ghost Rider kill him? I really wanted to see if there was an answer to that. Does that just mean he's gonna lose or he's gonna win by default, or does Ghost Rider have a solution? So I think that's an interesting idea for a death battle. It's not just who's gonna beat, who's stronger, who's faster. It's who's got a strategy that can actually work here. Ghost Rider and his weird hell angel powers, or Lobo and his just absurdity and his frankly just rashness and his own decision to just be so absurd that he will not die. That is Lobo in a nutshell. And I just love that kind of matchup and that kind of comparison.
Yeah,
and of course going into the animation and putting that together.
It was one of our fastest turnarounds with any fight, basically.
I think you mentioned on the commentary, I believe this production was 3 weeks.
Yeah, we finished the fight in 3 weeks.
Holy
which
shit.
is pretty much it feels like it's a record for us, at least.
You guys are really good. And I think that largely is because
it's because of all our freelancers, including Zach, being now in-house and stuff, really helps out, make that production a lot more smoother than it would be if it was all completely freelance.
Guys are just getting faster and faster and improving the quality and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's a dope fight. What did you guys think of it?
I like the motorcycles.
No. God damn it, Chad.
No, I forgot we were doing the behind the scenes.
I don't want to spoil, but
it
it just gets more and more badass towards the end of it. Like a lot of fights, but it escalates very well. It starts badass and then it continues to get more badass, and definitely some of the end shit. A lot, and especially I've been out on the last 4 or 5 episodes of Death Battle, so it's been really fun watching Death Battles and seeing them and be I don't know what this is gonna happen. And you're whoa, cool. And so this one ended in a way that I didn't see coming. It was very cool. I like it. It was a really fun fight.
I still get that too now, because even though we voiced the scripts, we're voicing so far ahead that we've voiced so many scripts that I'm who won? No, I do not remember. No, I do not.
We did voice this Oh my God, it's probably 2 months ago.
Yeah, like it's
say
been a
6
while.
weeks ago or something like that.
Quite a while ago.
I think one of the things I really like about the fight, and I mentioned this in the commentary, is the fact that we show the penance stare happening really early in the fight, which keeps people guessing as to what's going to happen.
Right, because that was my biggest thing when we first talked about doing this fight. It was just like, but penance stare.
Yeah.
Lobo's done a lot of bad things.
Penance stare's weird because it's been a little inconsistent, and part of one of the biggest challenges we had while writing this episode and doing the research for this episode was figuring out really how the penance stare works, because there have been instances in the past, and this seems to be there's a common misconception that the penance stare does not work on you if you do not feel guilt. If you feel guilt, then the penance stare will take that guilt and use it against you. That's a general idea of what the penance stare is, and that's wrong. That's not actually what the penance stare does, because if that's what it did, then any like super villain who is not doesn't feel guilty, which is like the ultimate villains,
right?
The ones
they're all doing it for
should be fighting.
Right.
It wouldn't work on them.
Right.
So what's the point of the penance stare then, if it's not going to work on the most vile of characters? So instead, what it does is it just literally takes it's based on Johnny Blaze's idea of what guilt is. Like, if he believes you are guilty, then you're gonna get fucked. Like, that's it. So it doesn't matter if you're guilty because you're a mass murderer or you're guilty because you stole someone's pen. If Johnny Blaze thinks that stealing someone's pen is bad enough to go to hell over, you're getting fucked by the penance stare. Like, he doesn't really think that, but if somebody got the Ghost Rider powers and did think that and was just insane in that way, yeah, the penance stare would be terrible.
Sam stabbed me in the eye once.
It's true.
Straight to hell.
But I don't really feel guilt.
Yeah, but it doesn't work that way.
I mean,
I didn't actually harm you, though. You're fine, so it's fine.
The penance stare can work on basically anyone. The only way to avoid it is apparently if you're blind, because listen,
you've had a rough life.
Or I mean, you've already unfortunately had kind of a rough enough time of it. Like, why would you? You get one benefit.
That's funny. Like that, this ultimate power has that like really simple limitation.
Yeah. Although it's kind of vague there's some possibilities for why that might not be the case, because there is an example where I believe it's Johnny Blaze specifically. He just stands on a hill overlooking like a city, and he's just like, I'm gonna penance stare the whole city at once.
Of course.
And he does. They're not looking at him. They like the people don't even know he's there, but all of them get penance stare all at once.
Look
Can you hit me?
Yeah. What's that guy? Ah!
Sounds about right.
And by the way, was it L.A.?
I can't remember what it was. It was like a small town.
If any city
it
needs
would be Vegas.
Vegas,
I think it might have been
Yeah,
inspired
it
by
would
Vegas.
be Vegas.
City of Sin or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the other way to avoid it is just be Thanos and just really be the ultra masochist. I mean, you just love pain, so just bring it on. Cool, sort of thing, which we mentioned in the episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was probably the biggest question we had to answer, is whether or not it could even work on Lobo.
Especially with how wacky Lobo is. Like, for example, in the fight where he grabs an entire building and kind of like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw
puts it all into a little tiny
your
ball.
tweet about how like you never thought you'd research a character who just like crushed the city into a gobstopper and ate it. Like,
Lobo's very much a character who's like, what if you had Superman, but he just didn't give a shit about anything? He's not like evil Superman. He just doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And like, you just throw him in a situation, and also he's got the personality of Deadpool, essentially.
Wild card.
Like, let's just see what happens. That's basically Lobo. But going into animation, like when you got the script and started storyboarding it out, like what was going through your head getting that started?
I was just really thinking about like whenever we start any animation, right? We think about like all the things that we had to do in the fight. The first thing we think about is like what kind of like things from like other video games that I played in the past match up what we're trying to do. So like for example, the pendants there. The first thing that came to mind was Earthbound, the ending where you fight Gygas.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like we used that background, we recreated like something similar to make it look like the pendants there, but also like, it kind of like has still those similarities from Earthbound, but like, yeah, we kind of like tweak it to make it our own.
And it's funny, literally, the first time I saw it, we were doing like a review watch of it, and I stopped and I was like, is that Gygas? Like,
yeah.
I was like, okay, sweet.
Yeah, and the other thing is like when I saw the whole like, oh, there's a part where they go to the city. I was like, oh, perfect. We can take like this. It's been kind of like a joke basically this season, but we like Zach created this like 3D city basically, and we've been using it in different parts of like different fights this year. And it's just kind of like we just think of it as like this city that's always like gets like all this shit thrown at it, and basically they just keep like relocating to different locations, but it's still the same city and still gets like the same.
This is like the fourth time the city's been used, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We modify it every single time we use
what
it.
other episodes has it been used in?
It's been used in Aquaman and Namor. It's been used in I want to say Shazam, Marvel, and Green Lantern versus Ben 10.
I thought it was
So,
also part of Frank West.
Yeah,
Frank
it
West.
was.
That's the first one, right?
That's the first time we used that background. It was a little bit different because in that one we use After Effects to make the background. Well, this one is we moved to a different software to make the background.
Well, and it's constantly being built upon as you guys
Yeah,
use it.
we
It's
have
not
the
like you're just copying and pasting.
No, we keep
it's completely evolving.
we keep evolving the city and we keep adding things that we need in that city. And eventually, it's just gonna be this like giant metropolis or whatever.
Yeah, and then we sell it to other people who are
Death
needing
Battle
it.
Metropolis. Yeah.
No, but that's very much in keeping with Death Battle tradition. I will never forget when Ben and I were trying to convince Craig to buy an environment for was it RoboCop?
To get any sort of budget for Death Battle.
Was it RoboCop Terminator?
When we first started doing 3D fights with Torian, I was told, all right, you can get a 3D environment, but you can only get one.
Yeah, and you better
like 4 fights.
Yeah, and you better stretch it out. So you're like, okay.
So I ended up searching high and low because we didn't have modelers at the time. We didn't have the means to build a set, let alone buy one. So I ended up finding the biggest city like I could possibly find that had like a downtown, a little like suburb next to it, a bridge over a lake, a little like beach area, and I was like, oh, this is great. We can use different locations for different fights. So
we did RoboCop, Terminator, Deadpool, Deathstroke, Godzilla, Gamera, and I'm pretty sure there's another one.
Oh shit! There was another 3D one that I think we did later because I think after the third one I was finally able to convince him to get
a different
budget. Yeah. Like, congratulations, you have $10 instead of $5 per episode.
It's so funny. Is like I see that city and looking at it, I don't think of like that's the building here. I'm like, that's RoboCop, Terminator land, and then I see the bridge and I'm like, that's Deadpool, Deathstroke land.
Yeah.
And then I look at the water and I just picture Gamera like super pile driving Godzilla into it.
Oh my god!
Just like,
so we can just take that city and then just recreate it in real life and make that battle land, and basically people can
pretty
go.
much.
there you go. Yeah.
It'd be a really boring theme park.
Yeah, very boring.
Until the giant lizard and giant turtle start stomping around, and then Deadpool and Deathstroke start breaking things on the bridge.
Sounds like a terrible place.
Yeah. It'd be an exciting theme park, just not in a good way.
Yeah, it will only last a little bit because then we'll be like copyright strike.
Oh yeah. Using Deadpool in your theme park.
Man, RoboCop, Terminator. My brother did the RoboCop model. Death Pond.
Perfect. That'll be our.
Who doesn't want to take a vacation there?
Death Pond versus Kill Wave. I'm trying to think of another.
And dead.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's cool. It'll be very funny to see what the city evolves into at the very by the very end.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where like we could just.
Is this
like,
gonna be where Wiz and Boomstick have their ultimate fight at the very
absolutely.
end?
Who knows?
In Battleville.
I just imagine like this really high tech like environment around them, and then just this like city that looks normal right in the middle. It's just like keeps evolving.
Well, I guess in canon they've been building this city.
Yeah,
sure.
To like summon the characters to or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's one of those things where like we could make a new background, but it's just kind of like we just thought it was like a really funny joke.
Yeah, it's all fun in games until you can't load the city.
Exactly. Once you open the file and it goes like, sorry, your file is too big.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, you just split it off. This is city A, this is city B. What is... Like ages ago, we thought about coming up with a sort of story for how
they do that?
get these characters together. We kind of just ignored that. Like, it doesn't matter.
But
these days.
there was a time when we were talking about it, and it was that essentially that they had a machine which I think was tentatively titled the Pixeltron 3000 or something dumb.
Pixeltron 5000. Yeah,
5000, something like that.
The Pixeltron 7000, whatever it was. I love the Pixeltron.
And basically what it would do is it would set up an environment, and then it would just summon a character. It would pull that character from wherever they were in their canon adventures, and it would drop them both in, and then they would fight.
Is it called Pixeltron because it turns them into sprites?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
That-
really
that
really
was when it was
convenient.
only sprites.
Really
Yeah, back when
convenient.
Everything was right.
But we had ideas of like Wiz and Boomstick. We would dress up as Wiz and Boomstick, and we would host it, and then we would like. I think at some point we brainstormed the idea that we would pull characters out or like animals out, and like you would have a pet Charmander at some
Or
point.
something like that. Yeah, we
Like,
talked about
there was
it.
all sorts of random ideas thrown out.
A lot of weird
involving
stuff.
The Pixeltron 5000 or whatever.
Been doing this for a long time.
That was almost 10 years.
Yep.
As of next year, it will be 10 years.
Dang.
It's crazy.
That's insane.
What are we doing with our lives?
Killing others.
Oh, Jesus.
Fake one.
Don't
Yep.
take that out of context.
Fake ones, of course.
Yes. But going into... Somebody is trying to call me. I'm in the middle of
No
the
one would have
show.
known because you have it on
Yeah,
vibrate.
you
But
could just pass right over that.
But, you know, this is a professional show. So
Okay.
I
Obviously.
need to address everything that happens, including... when my
yeah,
phone vibrates.
you really
Anyway.
threw off the path Sam set us on with his smooth intro.
Thanks, Sam.
What was my smooth intro?
Being sarcastic.
Oh, yeah, cool. You know, one thing professional podcasts do have
Yep,
is professional ad reads.
that's right.
Oh, shit. Is it time for one?
Am I first?
You're first.
Okay, cool. I
Be
thought
professional,
Sam
Chad.
was first. I will. Because it's summertime, and well, you might be breaking out that baseball cap for a day at the beach or the ballpark. If you're wearing it to hide thinning hair, you may not have to anymore. So don't sweat hair loss this summer. Do something now while you still can, because I don't know if you're aware, but 66% of men lose their hair by age 35. And that's
dear.
why Hims is here to help. 4hims.com is a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, and sexual wellness for men. So Hims has been a sponsor for quite a while now, and when we were first talking about whether or not they're going to be a sponsor of the show, I got on a call with the creator of Hims, and really like kind of like their motivation for why they started this company. And essentially it's because, like, you know, some of these issues can be embarrassing for some people or uncomfortable, and they don't want to talk about it, and so then they don't go seek help for sometimes things that are treatable. And specifically today talking about hair loss. So there's no need for like weird solutions or anything like that. Hims connects you with real doctors and medical grade solutions to treat hair loss. They offer well-known generic equivalents to name brand prescriptions to help you keep your hair. There's no snake oil or weird gas station counter supplements. It's prescription solutions backed by science. And there's no waiting room, no awkward in-person doctor's visits. You just you get on a call with a doctor, and you answer a few quick questions, and they can prescribe you. And then products are shipped directly to your door. So order now. Death Battle Cast listeners get a trial month of Hims for just $5 today, right now while supplies last. See website for full details and safety information. This could cost hundreds if you went to a doctor or a pharmacy. So go to 4hims.com/cast. That's FORHIMS.com/cast. 4hims.com/cast. Thanks, Hims.
All right. Thank you very much. Now it's time to talk about what's going on. What is going on, guys?
I have-
Disney's Deadpool. That's right.
What?
Yeah.
Well, before we get to that, looks like we have some fan art to check out.
Oh,
from
cool.
Ogres Have Layers. I did not say ogres shave layers this time.
Good job.
Let's go ahead and bring that up.
Whoa!
Oh, that's sweet.
That's
for the Venom
awesome.
Spawn. That's hella cool.
Oh, this is
That
for the
looks
DBX
awesome.
Yeah,
that just
yeah,
came
yeah.
out. Yeah, if you haven't seen the DBX for Venom Spawn,
That's
you should
really
check
cool.
it out. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, that's badass. I like
It's
that.
awesome.
That is super cool.
And for those of you audio listeners, it is a very cool picture of Venom and Spawn.
yes. It's like a half and half.
Yes.
Two-face situation. That's really cool.
But yes, so thank you, Ogres Have Layers.
Yeah, that's
It's really
badass.
neat. If you have art that you'd like to share with us, definitely post it on Twitter. Use hashtag DeathBattleCast. We'll check it out and share it here. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So the reason why it says Disney's Deadpool there is a question came up on Twitter, I think, last week that I thought it's kind of interesting. So, as you know, Disney owns like the 21st Century Fox material right now. X-Men and Fantastic Four are coming to the MCU potentially. One of those characters would be Deadpool, right? Theoretically, Deadpool is coming to the MCU. But the MCU does have a very specific sort of tone and limit to what it does with its movies. A lot of its movies are really good, and they definitely try a lot of different things with their movies. But they have this kind of field of view where they try not to like jump too far away from this standard tone that they have, where it's like a lighthearted comedy action romp. So Deadpool would probably have to be a PG-13 Deadpool in the MCU.
And that worked out so well the last time.
Well, is it worth... The question I have to you guys is it worth making Deadpool PG-13 to be in the MCU?
No.
Deadpool shouldn't be in it.
Yeah, I think it would be weird. But I think there's probably a creative way that you could... Like, if he played around with this, like, if he tried to swear and got censored and called it out, or something like that, you know? Like,
You don't think that would get old real fast?
I think it. I think it breaks that like suspension of disbelief like so immediately to have a character like Deadpool and something like that.
Yeah.
That it kind of ruins the whole thing.
Like
If Deadpool showed up at like the end of Infinity War and was just like, don't worry, nobody's actually dead. They're actors, and this is a movie. Mayo, and just like jumped out, like the movie would be shit.
Yeah.
You know?
No,
Like,
I hear you. I probably wouldn't want it.
I don't think it's worth having somebody like it doesn't need like a pressure release valve.
Let him have his own movies, and other characters can pop in, but don't have him pop into other
But if
characters.
other characters pop in, is it not part of the MCU?
I mean, they've just been doing it with X-Men, right? That's about it.
So in the X-Men, the thing that worked for Deadpool with X-Men is that there was no like one timeline for X-Men.
Right.
Fox kind of, I really actually liked what they were starting to do, where they were just sort of experimenting. It was like, we're going to have Deadpool, and it's going to be this like crazy R-rated comedy. Logan is going to be this hardcore like Western sort of thing. Then they were going to make New Mutants, wherever that is. It was going to be a horror film.
Probably Disney Plus.
Maybe if they even release it at all.
I get really excited when they did Days of Future Past. Like, that was such a good movie, and I was like, yes, we're doing like some really good things here. And then
Days
fucking
of Future Past was awesome.
Yeah.
God, it was so good.
So they started letting their filmmakers sort of think outside the box and do kind of like what DC was trying to do.
And then Apocalypse happened.
Well, Bryan Singer tried to fix it he made Days of Future Past, which is good, and then he was like, we're gonna make them all the same as X1, 2, and 1 and 2, those like standard superhero films. So let's do Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix.
Yeah,
It's bad ideas.
Dark Phoenix is really bad.
I forgot that it existed.
Yeah, it came out.
I need to go
way
watch
quick.
it.
Yeah.
I
It
hear
literally
was
came
good.
out a couple months ago, and everybody's forgotten about it. Because it's just like the X-Men films reached a point where they were like becoming more than just standard superhero flicks. And so when you try to go back to that, it just feels so quaint and kind of lame in comparison.
Yeah, I mean, well,
Yeah.
how are you gonna follow up fucking Logan? Like that was exceptional.
Like Apocalypse could have been an interesting, like thought-provoking story about this character, but instead it was just like everybody team up and throw fireballs at him. It's basically what the end was. Like, let's just punch him as much as we possibly can. Even in his mind.
Well,
Yes.
I think they should have done like that weird. I can't remember the name of the arc, but there's a weird arc with I think it's the X-Force actually in Deadpool, in Wolverine, and like a lot of people are part of it, and it's like Apocalypse as a kid, and they're all there, and their plan is to kill him before he becomes the real Apocalypse, because it's
Moral
like
quandary.
Apocalypse like
But
reincarnated.
Right, but instead they like took him away, and they like
They
just
end up
raising
deciding,
him.
well,
It's a
the whole
Deadpool
thing
story,
is
isn't it? Doesn't Deadpool
yeah, it's
protect him?
Deadpool. It's all
Yeah.
and it's all
He's a kid.
nurture over
Right.
nature. But it's like one of the only times like that would have been the point where you can integrate Deadpool into something like that, because it's one of the only times Deadpool stops being a
An
fourth
asshole.
wall
Yeah.
breaky piece of shit, and he's like the voice of reason and is very serious and is like, we can't just kill a child. And Wolverine's like, we have to, and like it's a good arc, and like there's a lot to it, and like
Then it goes real bad.
Then you could have, like that's what you could have done to bring Deadpool into something, is like take one of his more serious arcs where he's not being
there's-
such a joke.
Also, there's also a lot of cool Apocalypse shit, and they didn't do shit with it.
Sure.
I hate
I
that
mean,
movie.
anyway, getting back onto the Deadpool train of thought.
Like Bishop's whole relationship.
I personally think that like Deadpool could work if like, like if you replace, I wouldn't say replace, more like honor that whole like like the Stan Lee cameo, but have it with like Deadpool, Deadpool like showing up in different spots, just in the movie, just like in the background.
It's
basically.
just like getting a coffee at Starbucks, but like somebody like busts through and like a fight. And just,
Yeah, basically stuff
there's
like
the fact that sadly Stanley will no longer be in that role.
Oh God, what did I watch? Was it Captain Marvel that they did the in honor of Stan Lee intro? You know the Marvel. Yes. Oh, wasn't it prepared for that, dude? Like I put that on, I was like, oh God, and April was like,
Yeah.
Oh no.
And then his appearance in what was it? I think it was Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Where it's like
It's Spider-Verse was
almost
the
like a
last one,
goodbye to him.
Yeah.
But it's a goodbye to Spider-Man in the
Yeah.
context, but it's a goodbye to him
Yeah.
as it's basically reworked because he had just passed away. Like so well done.
Oh
Yeah.
Like a beautiful moment.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if Deadpool could be the one to fill those
No,
shoes.
no. That
He
is
just
not possible. You know what I mean?
He
But, like,
doesn't mean replaced. He just means like
it's-
having him just pop up as like a fun little cameo. Might
Yeah,
be
maybe.
the way.
I think it
'Cause
would
I'm
throw.
sure-
I think Stanley you can get away with it with
Yeah, I'm
Stanley because
sure.
he can
Like-
kind of blend in and
well,
he's
Deadpool, he could have been like in that giant, like, spoiler if you haven't seen Endgame. At the end of it, there's a big fight. It's pretty much like, have you seen?
Just there.
Have you seen Lord of the Rings? It's like that, but he just like he like cuts up a guy and his arm gets cut off and he's like, aw, and then you just go to the next character and like that that's all we would need to see and we'd be like, oh cool, Deadpool.
You know what I think they should do?
guess.
It would be fine.
Here's what you do. You use Deadpool to introduce the movie before the movie starts. That's when you do it. Deadpool's talking to the audience. And like, make sure you go buy your snacks. Like, just whore him out to all the movie theaters. And that is how he's included.
But then you probably, Ryan Reynolds just be stacking paper.
Oh, yeah.
He's gonna get
that
back.
actually gave me. So I've got two thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
That literally gave me my second thought. The first thought, I guess, based on that, would be post-credit scenes.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
have him appear in post-credit scenes
Yeah.
exclusively. But it's still not a Deadpool movie. Like
Right,
if you want
right,
a Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
My thought. So ages ago, and they might be trying to do something similar. They tried something called Marvel Knights, where they would release Marvel films that were like separate from others because they were too dark and violent. And Ghost Rider was a Marvel Knights film, or Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance was a Marvel Knights film. There was like a Punisher thing that was a Marvel Knights film. So like this was like a separate production release, not a production studio, but like a release.
Dark Disney
idea.
is what you're basically getting at. Like,
Dark DC or whatever it was called.
Basement.
The
basement of Disney.
Basically, Marvel After Dark. Sort of
Disney
thing.
After Dark. Sorry, let's hear it.
Yeah. So they could do something like that with Deadpool, where he is not a part of the MCU. They're making movies. He's not a part of the MCU, but he makes fun of the MCU.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what they did with him with the X-Men films, where like X-Men characters are there, Colossus is there.
Right.
It's not the same Colossus that was in X
Right, no,
2
definitely
and 3.
not. Right.
It's
Yeah.
a parody of him.
Yeah.
So they could do that with Deadpool, and then they have like parody Captain America or whatever. It doesn't even have to be Chris Evans. It could be just
Yeah.
some guy who's like a lookalike, and then
Well, it won't
Deadpool
be
makes
Chris
fun
Evans.
of him.
He's done,
Like,
right?
he's like low budget, like low budget Captain America or something
Yeah.
like that. Like they could do all sorts of things like that if he's a separate entity that like is making fun of the giant continuity.
It's just gonna be hard for Disney to get over that, like just even being associated at all with a movie like that. You know what I mean?
maybe, I don't know. Like
Has Disney
tons
ever
of
done
stuff.
anything that's rated R? Ever?
They have to. They have to have.
Nothing's jumping to my mind.
Yeah.
Like I think PG-13 is the farthest they've gone.
First article that comes up: Disney is releasing first R-rated film in 6 years, off of Screen Rant,
There we go.
and it is
Deadpool 3. Oh, we solved it.
Stuber. Was
Disney's
Stuber a
a
Disney
Disney
film.
No,
Is it
100% not. That's Warner. We
Yeah.
Yeah.
like, hence why we all had to see it early.
Yeah. Wait. Hang on.
Which, by the way, that was actually fun. I don't know if you had a chance to check it out. It's definitely worth a watch.
No.
I don't think it's
Stuber is
out
Disney.
yet.
It's not.
Surprise.
It's not. It's Warner.
It literally says distributed by Walt Disney Studios.
Really?
What?
You
Why
can
did
look at
we-
it yourself. Stuber's apparently a Disney
Because
film.
I thought we watched. Chad and I went and saw it like
A million years ago. Yeah.
and I thought we were invited by Warner Media to watch it.
I thought
they're
so,
like
too.
our daddy, you know.
Right.
They're business
I
daddy.
mean, the daddies can,
Business daddies.
hang out together.
I guess. Interesting. I had no idea. All right. Well, whatever. Regardless, like I said, it was fun.
So
It was worth a
they
watch.
make Stuber
Yeah.
2 Deadpool. And then there you go.
Sure. All right. Well, they finally, of all the movies
to do their first
to
R
break
movie.
that ground with.
Well, no, that's
I
the first
guess-
one in 6 years. So 6 years ago, they had some other R-rated movie.
Oh man,
That's what the title is. First R-rated movie in 6 years.
I thought they're releasing their first R-rated movie
In 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
No.
No.
I'm saying, like, I thought this article
that
was
article
6
was
years
not
ago.
from 2013.
Okay.
No, they did not plan Stuber that
Got
far
it.
in advance.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
So as of, according to newsarama.com,
Yes.
which I've never heard of, so
But now everyone has, and there's your
Yeah.
free plug.
take with a grain of salt, but Disney promises more R-rated Deadpool movies under their watch.
Can Deadpool jump into the
Okay.
Marvel universe?
go.
All right. Cool.
According to Iger, we will continue in that business. There's a certain popularity with those types of films.
All right. Cool. We solved it. Good job,
There we
everybody.
go.
That's what's
Deadpool
going on.
will continue.
Will return.
The question,
Yeah.
I mean, of course, Deadpool's going to continue. The question here is whether or not he will be part of the MCU.
Yeah. We'll see.
Probably not, I think, is the answer. But yeah, like, I wouldn't even worry for a second that there will be more Deadpool. Like, he made fat stacks. Like, that's...
Yeah.
If you ever want to know if something's going to go again, it's like, did it make a lot of money? Yeah, you'll get
did.
another one, don't worry. Like, they ran out of Hobbitses, and they were like, we'll just make more. Like, they're like, as long as they're making money, we're making more Hobbitses.
Well,
Would you say
I
that it
guess-
put a smile on your face, Sam? Oh, sorry.
No.
Let's teeing him up. Are you serious?
That's the Hobbit song, right? Oh, fuck. I don't know, I'm good.
No.
Oh, Mr.
What?
Rogers?
Jesus.
Where are you going with this? I don't know any of this shit.
I don't know.
I was
either.
homeschooled.
What are you talking about?
What do you smile with? Besides your mouth.
Oh, you're teeing me up here. Thanks, bud. Oh. It put a good smile on my face, which I'm happy to show off because of the excellent work my Quip toothbrush has been putting at home. If you don't know anything, like, you got weird, I've said it a bunch of times, you have weird rocks in your mouth. It's strange. It's definitely one of the weirdest things about being alive is having rocks. But it sucks because you only, as an adult, get one pair of mouth rocks. And if you don't take care of them, you'll have no mouth rocks. And I feel like that's probably gotta suck. I cannot confirm. I still have mine, mainly thanks to my Quip toothbrush, who, if you didn't know, is a sponsor today. Let me tell you, Quip is just, it's just the best toothbrush. It's sleek, it's sexy, it has a traveling carry case, which I can tell you has been wonderful for this summer vacation as I go on vacations to places like my girlfriend's house and, you know, just around. And recently I'll be going to Azeroth, and it'll help a lot for that as well. That's my big vacation. My summer vacation is to Azeroth.
Yeah.
It is good. It's very, very anticipated.
If you don't know what Azeroth is, look it up. It's a nice place.
Yeah,
Depending
a
on where you are.
little turmoil, but
Yeah.
you know, it's good. Great food. Gonna be going there.
Good vanilla ice.
Gonna have my Quip toothbrush with me because it has a fantastic carrying case. You just go boop, and then that carrying case also sticks to the window, or not the window, the mirror.
Or window.
I mean, you could stick to a window if you want to be that guy.
Through
but, you know.
sorcery.
Yeah, and I don't know how, but it's always sticky. It always does it, and it means that you can keep your toothbrush off of whatever weird counter at the hotel you're staying at. Because if you've been to a hotel and if you've looked at a counter in a hotel, you've seen somewhere someone else they've made dirty business. Let me tell you, that is a guarantee from me. People in hotels do that. Not saying I've done it, but I would not trust a counter at a hotel. I would stick my toothbrush on the mirror like Quip has you do. It's got sonic vibrations. It's got pulse timers. It's just a good toothbrush. Go buy one. Okay? Just go buy it. And you can do that by going to getquip.com/cast. All right? And it starts at just $25. And when you go to getquip.com right now, you can get your first refill pack for free. That's another awesome thing. They come with refill packs. You'll plug them in, little thing, no charges. Great, don't worry. You get your first one free when you go to getquip.com/cast right now. That's getquip.com/cast. So go do that. or else I'll be mad at you. And you'll also probably, I'm just not gonna lie, if you don't do that, you take toothbrush, you're probably gonna have poop particles on your toothbrush. Just saying. That's just the thing. You get a quick toothbrush, you won't have no poop particle on your toothbrush.
Oh my God.
Thanks, Quip.
We
appreciate you sponsoring us,
toothbrush.
Despite him.
No,
it's very effective.
About my toothbrush.
People were coming up to you at RTX, it's like, dude, I got my Quip, and it's awesome.
It's a nice toothbrush.
Yeah.
For $25, it's kind of buck wild. Like, it's got magic stickies. Like, it's just, it's, yeah.
Go get it.
Like a bunch of us use it. Like it's legitimately really good.
No, that's awesome.
Like if you were to take anything from that, it's legitimately really good, and your mouth rocks will appreciate it.
It's just I can't get past the like, would it put a smile on your face? No. And I'm like, are we going there? And he's like,
I
the Hobbit song? And I'm like, yes, the Hobbit song. Put a smile on your face.
I missed the tee up. I didn't know what you were on about.
I don't think anybody picked up on that.
Yeah,
so anyway, all right, it's time for the community death battle. Whatever.
You ever think that the Master Sword feeds off of Link's life energy?
What?
You can only shoot lasers when he's at full health.
But you don't lose health when you shoot lasers.
Yeah.
But maybe it's just a finite amount. Not enough.
It does take your health away when you're pulling it from the pedestal in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
That is right.
It's true.
I don't know if that's supposed to symbolize the strength that he's putting into it, or if it's literally draining his life force.
It's just something I thought of. If you can't, you have to have a certain amount of life force to use its full power. So does that mean it's slightly feeding off of you?
Well, you need to be at top life force. You don't need to have a certain amount necessarily, because it doesn't matter if you have like 5 or 7 hearts. As long as you have full hearts, you shoot.
But how does
laser
that
beams,
how
I
does
believe.
that work?
I mean, I think maybe you just need to be at your utmost and able to wield it to its most.
That's probably what it is. That makes sense.
Yeah. Just
You're at your best, then the sword is at its best.
Got it.
Or maybe it does draw its strength from Link, but not necessarily in the
but I think
sapping energy sort of way.
Yeah, but that's bullshit. Because like if I have this sword, it's like if you're at your best, I'm at my best. Like great, let's fuck some shit up. I'm gonna shoot some lasers, and somebody kicks me in the shit. And it's like, sorry, no more lasers. like come on, I'm fine. And it's like, nah.
You
What
think
classifies
like
you're not your best.
if the sword was
What classifies 100%? That's like
if the sword was a nice guy, it would like kick in to its best gear when you're in trouble.
Right, it'd be the opposite. It'd be like, oh yeah, your sword's normally pretty awesome, but when you're about to die, it shoots fucking lasers so that you stay alive.
That would be interesting.
Yeah,
that would be an
better
interesting
way to do
take.
it.
Because
I think that would be a more fun mechanic too, because then you could play on low life to try and be like,
You hear that? We fixed Zelda.
The sword doesn't really do lasers in Breath of the Wild, though, right?
yes, it does.
I can't remember. It's been so long since I played it.
It's the throw mechanic.
Oh yeah.
Instead of throwing it, you throw a laser. It's like a spinning
beam sword,
thing.
Yeah.
The,
It's a
the thing from
spectral
Skyward Sword.
throw, yeah.
Because Skyward Sword also has it, but it's not a laser. It's like a wind disc thing.
I mean, that's cool. Yeah,
It's basically a laser.
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see. It's weird that I still think it's weird that they're making Breath of the Wild 2. Like it's. I don't
You
know.
think it's weird?
I'm stoked. Like Breath of the Wild is like just straight up like probably 9.5 out of 10, maybe 10 out of 10 banger. It's a fucking amazing game. I just kind of like it's weird that they're doing another one. I don't think they're gonna be able to like nail it.
I disagree. I think Breath of the Wild. There's so much about Breath of the Wild that was like setting a foundation for the way that a Zelda game can be played, and they can build off of that.
I hope a lot of it is trying to rebuild Hyrule after all. Like if this happens like right after you defeat Ganon, and a lot of it is like trying to rebuild Hyrule, and you get a little bit of like a world building game in there. And then, the Skyward Sword monster, that's like the thing that the curse that possesses Ganon, right? That guy comes back.
I hope they don't really explore that too much.
Really?
I don't like the idea.
you mean
of
like
Then
demise.
what? Ganon comes back, or do you just want a new villain?
Oh, I want Ganondorf to be there, but I don't want Demise to be there.
New
I don't
villain.
like the whole idea of Demise, and he's like, he's just a reincarnation of this demon thing, and he will always be this demon thing. He'll never change.
The Hero Link or the Hero Time will always be the Hero Time.
Yeah, but like
All
in a
that's
video
same thing.
game, you want your villain to be different in different games.
So do you just want another Ganon?
Not as he
different.
is, but I would like to see Ganondorf in a different light. And so Breath of the Wild did that with Ganon. They had Calamity Ganon, who was an entirely different kind of entity that is like weird and creepy and bizarre and like basically on his last legs, and a wounded animal trying to strike out and destroy everything. Like, that's interesting. Now take that kind of idea, not that idea specifically, but that kind of direction, and apply it to Ganondorf. And I think that's what they're going for.
Oh, I see. So Calamity Ganon's like, we'll find out that his last right was to dive into a person, Ganondorf.
Maybe. I don't know. We don't even know if it's going to be called Breath of the Wild 2 or anything like that. We don't know enough about the game to start.
It'll be interesting.
And that's why Link is fighting in a community death battle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
He is.
Link versus Trunks.
Of course.
Or Link versus Trunks, the upcoming
DBX.
DBX. And of course, we are kind of combining DBX and community death battle for the next few weeks because they are kind of the same thing in this regard, with voting for who you think should win. So the next one, we just had Venom versus Spawn come out, which was dope. And you guys voted on that. If you want to see who won based on that poll, you should check it out. And of course, if your character did not end up winning, we still have the alternate ending on roosterteeth.com that you can check out. So for this one coming up this weekend, because it airs on Saturday and Sundays, right?
Saturday 1st, Sunday YouTube.
Yeah. It is Link versus Trunks.
This one's been a good, like, before I checked this morning, it was right at just shy of 10,000 votes.
Oh,
so
wow.
a lot of people.
My
That
gut
poll just came out, too.
My gut says Trunks, but
You'll have to wait and see.
all right.
We'll see who wins based on the poll. But if you're, looking for some,
Info to sway ya?
Reasons to vote one way or the other, you can, of course, look to the rest of the community, posting on Twitter using hashtag DBX. And we have an answer supporting Link from Crow MVP. Let's go ahead and bring that one up. Crow says, the strongest canon version of Link easily defeats any canon version of Trunks. The Link from A Link to the Past wields the completed Triforce and thus scales to other characters who have wielded the completed Triforce. This includes Ganon shaking all of Hyrule while he was in another dimension, Link destroying and remaking the Dark World at the end of A Link to the Past. So that's an interesting thing to bring up, is whether or not the complete Triforce should be a factor when thinking of Link.
I doubt it. I don't think so.
It doesn't really carry, like, the way the complete Triforce works is you touch it and it grants your wish. That's basically it.
It's like Dragon Balls. And then they shoot off to different people to be reincarnated again as long as you look like a small green elf boy.
Yeah, so it's like, that's like saying, like, Goku fights this guy and then brings out the Dragon Balls and then wishes for the guy to, like, disappear.
To die.
Explode.
Yeah. I don't know if the Triforce can be used to fight somebody. I don't think we've ever actually seen that, because Ganon wants the Triforce to basically rule the world. He only needs one to do that, really. He gets his wish with just the Triforce of Courage. The king uses it to flood Hyrule, which I guess kills Ganon. Technically, I guess you kill him by stabbing his face, and then he drowns him. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that really works as like a combat feat per se. What do you guys think?
I
think it's like the Dragon Balls. It doesn't really. I don't necessarily think that's something he can use in the midst of battle, because once it's used, it's gone, kind of thing. So,
got it.
I mean, Link has a lot of different like arsenals and stuff. Like
yeah, he does have stuff like
I did want to bring that
deity mask, and he's got a lot of the Majora's Mask stuff is really interesting. He's got that stupid wand, and I want to say it's the train one that like has like a 7-season staff or something like that.
Oh,
it makes him like invincible for a grip. Like he's got a lot of interesting. Like, I mean, it's Link. He's got so many tools and like arsenal things.
Yeah,
would the light arrow also count as well? As one of the
he gets the light arrows. Like I would say, anything that he's wielded before should be
of course.
considered. The Triforce itself is not something he puts in his pocket.
Yeah,
per se.
usually he gets
the
it from
Triforce
Zelda.
of Courage is on his hand. Whatever that does.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is important to consider that.
He'll certainly be brave during the fight.
Link has a bajillion options in terms of arsenal, and we've talked about how like the gauntlets increases strength by an absurd levels. He's got the winged boots that let him fly and like hover and things like that.
But Trunks is a Dragon Ball character.
Well, let's look at the answer for Trunks from Toxic Shrimp 28. And they say that Trunks wins. He was fast enough to dispose of Mecha Frieza in an instant, was stronger than Vegeta after he got out of the hyperbolic chamber in the Boo saga, and smart enough to fix a spaceship. He's stronger, faster, and smarter than Link can manage. Just saying.
Plus, he can use
there we go.
words.
He's got a pun, so I guess he wins.
So that's good, you know.
He can use what?
Words. He can talk. Like Link can't speak.
Well, this isn't like conflict resolution battle. Like they aren't going to talk out their problems.
This isn't diplomacy battle.
Yeah.
But I think it should still be mentioned.
Sure.
Okay.
I guess. I mean, so I guess the question is, do you think Link's arsenal could help him match and surpass Trunks?
It would just delay it, really. I feel.
Yeah, I think Trunks has it,
think
dude.
so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's just too strong, too fast.
Link also has like holy weapons and things like that, whereas Trunks just has a sword.
Yeah. I feel like
It's a strong sword. Apparently, it can hit Frieza and not break.
Yeah. Also cutting a bunch of pieces. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
More than that, he uses the sword in the Goku Black Saga. So
Oh yeah, that's right.
that's a bigger thing to look at. It does some. I don't know.
It's
if
a different sword because it got
Oh,
broken, didn't it?
Well, then he still has that sword. Like,
He's got a sword.
yeah,
He's also got blue hair.
He uses his
He's
sword,
weird.
and it's broken. But I guess he uses his key to make it like a full sword, which is pretty cool.
I don't remember that. I thought he just has a new sword for whatever reason.
I think he uses a key to make it a full sword. It's some like he
Whatever.
doesn't really.
Yeah.
Trunks does some weird shit in that saga. He
Yeah.
has another Super Saiyan thing that isn't actually like Super Saiyan. Like he just goes mad.
Oh, what is it called? Like Revenge
Super Saiyan
Saiyan
Rage
or something like that?
No,
Super
Super
Saiyan
Rage.
Rage. Yeah.
Yeah, silly.
Well,
but it's cool.
Head to @Death Battle on Twitter and vote for which one you think will win, and then you get to see it.
Yeah. That episode will be out this weekend.
Yep.
Based on your poll. We'll see who wins. It's gonna be exciting. And yeah, like sure, Trunks is a Dragon Ball character, but it's DBX.
You
So
just
can
vote on
who-
whoever you like.
Yes.
Whoever
Yeah.
it doesn't
want.
matter.
So like,
Yeah.
say for example, like I guess in a research fight, like Trunks will have the upper hand, but in this case, you guys get to decide who actually wins.
Yeah.
Ooh, as long as Link has his shield on his back and he crouches, I don't know how Trunks can hurt him.
Yeah.
Well, and just to kind of wrap it up, you can think about this in terms of Ghost Rider versus Lobo. When we compare Ghost Rider versus Lobo, Lobo is obviously way stronger, way faster, just way more powerful physically than Ghost Rider by a long shot. But he just didn't have a way to kill him.
Spoilers.
Well, we said at the very beginning of the episode.
But I know, but you didn't do it. I was like, great, we got through without spoiling. Right at the end. Right at the end.
Spoilers, Lobo is a fucking chump and lost.
Okay, you can
gonna
fade to
double
Black
down on it.
Gerardo. I
Cool.
think. Are we gonna do this
That's
for
gonna be
after?
post-show.
Yeah, let's post show.
Yeah, we're done. All right, see you guys.
We have secrets for post show, I guess.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah, there's apparently a whole
Pepsi
plan. There's
challenge.
a crowd of
Vote.
people here with food.
Well, we didn't really have. Okay, whatever.
No, I'm hungry.